Hey, it's Keith Smith from PilotEdge, doing a bit of a different IFR flight today, focusing on how to fly pilot nav SIDs in the CRJ using a combination of raw data, that would be VORs, and the FMS. I want to recognize that it's certainly more convenient to fly the route with FMS, and certainly most of the route is going to be flown with the FMS, but the initial departure can be a little bit tricky to fly with the FMS depending on the type of nav data that you have, so we always want to be able to fall back to raw data. And this is an example of how to fly, in this case, the PORTE5 departure out of San Francisco from runway 1 left using nav radios until we get established on a point-to-point route, which would be about from the port intersection onwards. But prior to that, we've got headings to fly, radials to track, and things like that, and we're going to use that. So we're going to do that with VORs. So let's jump in the plane and get started. Pretty sure I'm going to forget to close that door at some point, so why don't we just close that now. For brevity, I'm not going to be using full checklists. I do have them now, but I'm not going to use them for this video because the primary focus of this is showing how to execute this particular task as opposed to a end-to-end training video. I did toss up whether I would literally start with engines running and only focus on that, and I've come to the conclusion that I'll do a hybrid. We will start cold and dark, but I'll move relatively quickly, and we'll try and get there as quick as we can. Alright, so we'll fire up our beloved CRJ, get the APU going. Door should be opening, there it goes. And we're looking for an APU available light. Should be down here when that's ready. Okay. All our displays have come to life. Let's set the INSs to nav, or IRSs to nav, and we'll engage the yaw damper while we're here. Okay, hydraulic 3A should be on. That's done. And we shall initialize the FMS, begin the position initialization on the FMS. We are at sunny San Francisco. Okay, and the align is taking place. Go ahead and start entering the flight plan. We're in Delta 4448. And we're going to be heading to LAX today. I don't have latest nav data, so when we go to select the sorry, I should pick the runway first. Off of 1 left, the port 4 with an Avenal transition, and then the arrival will be the SID 6. With an ILS of 24 right from Santa Monica. Okay, we'll look at our legs. Septi. Bunch of incorrect courses to Septi, that's the whole problem. Port, Woodside, wages, etc. Okay, it's actually pretty good from port onwards. Port, Woodside, wages, Avenal, I'm just reviewing this with a paper chart in front of me, is looking pretty good. And we're actually going to discontinue after Avenal. We'll stop the video before then, so not too worried about the rest of it before then. The goal of, not too worried about what comes after Avenal. So the goal of the video is to get us transitioned from raw data to FMS by around port, and we can sit back and watch the pretty magenta line. Okay, so that is all set. Go to our performance initialization, it's 19 degrees outside. Now let's go grab our IFR clearance, then we'll program the V-speeds and the nav radios. Okay, San Francisco clearance, we'll do this on comp 2. Clearance is 18.2. Ground is 0.8. Towers 120.5. And departure is going to be 135.1. That's all done. Let's make sure we're talking on COM 2, which is the selector down here. Okay, let's grab our clearance. San Francisco clearance, Delta 4448 with the numbers IFR to LA.
Delta 4448, San Francisco clearance, cleared to Los Angeles Airport, Port 5 departure. Avenal transition, then as filed. Maintain 5000. Expect flight level 250 5 minutes after. Departure frequency 135.1, squawk 7456.
Delta 4448 cleared to the LA Airport, Port 5 departure. Avenal transition, then as filed. Maintain 5. Expect flight level 250 in 5. Departure 135.1, squawk 7456.
Delta 4448, readback is correct. Wind 280 at 9er. Does runway 1 left work for you?
AFOM will take 1 left, Delta 4448.
Roger.
Get the transponder set now, 7456. Okay, that's done. Go ahead and get the V speeds dialed. We're at about 48,500 pounds, which is convenient. Be a flapsate takeoff. So we're looking at about a 1 knot correction off the published V speed. So V1's normally 141 for flapsate. We'll be using 142. Okay, on the rotate we need a 2 knot correction based on the outside air temperature, and so 143 is published, so we'll use 145. And V2 is 152. Okay, we'll get some autopilot stuff set. On the Port 5 departure, initial heading is 333. I'll pop this up so you can see it better.
Scouts 1558, Las Vegas approach, Roger. Clear direct IPUMI.
Okay,
Cross
heading
IPUMI
333.
at 1000, then descend via the KSFO
Looking for
arrival.
5,000
Expect
initially.
approach, runway 25 left.
Okay, 5,000 is set. And we'll set the speed to V2 plus 10, so 162. And heading mode. Okay, that's all set. Now comes the setting of the radios. So reviewing the procedure. The 333 heading to join the San Francisco 350 radial outbound to SEPTI, which we want to cross at above 1900, and then a left turn to 203. So we know we need San Francisco for 2 reasons. We want the DME, 4 DME, and we want the 350 radial set. So let's set the nav1 radio to San Francisco, which is 115.8. And we'll set the course to 350. That's done. After we get to SEPTI, which will be 4 DME, left turn to 203. We can't preset that now because our heading bug's already tied up, but we will eventually be joining the Point Rays 135 radial outbound. And so let's set the nav2 radio to 113.7. That's done. And let's set a nav2 course of 135. And this is the tricky bit. You have to grab the nav source knob and pull it way over to the right and slowly bring it to the left. There's nav2 there. Now we're looking at the nav2 course, and this should be set to 135. If you preset all this on the ground, you have a fighting chance of doing this while you're flying the plane. You try and do this in the air, you're hosed. Okay, and that is identified point raise. So the nav radios are all set up. Okay, so I moved the format knob 2 to the right over here, and this has given me this display. This is showing me what the FMS wants to do, which is not right. So we are going to fly it ourselves to SEPTI, and in fact the rest of it till port, and then we'll engage FMS mode at port. And at some point we're probably going to have to clue the FMS in that we're over at port, not over at SEPTI. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, other than that, we're ready for engine start. Have a quick look at the pressurization. Actually, I'll skip that. Landing elevation 100 feet, that's close enough, because I'm going to discontinue the flight anyway. But normally I'd make sure I set the landing field elevation there for the pressurization system. Altimeter is set, FMS is set, radios and navs are set, parking brake is on. And we'll move on to clear to start checklists. Okay, doors are closed. Let's do beacon on.
Scouse 1558, clear for approach, runway 25 left.
And we got the pumps on. Bleed air on. Hydraulics on. Ignition and start 2. It's a good looking start on 2. Start 1. Okay, good start on 1. Fire up the generators. Kill the APU generator. Kill the ignition. Kill the bleed air. Kill the APU. Packs on. Kill the pumps. And we have a running airplane. Probes on. Got my nav lights on. And now we're ready for taxi. Swap over to ground. Ground's 0.8. And we'll put the transponder to altitude mode. And we're all set. APU doors closed, no enunciator lights, we're good. I don't have pushback capability here. So what we're going to do is a really tight turn. I've actually never tried this since I got the scenery installed. Well, some people may want to avert their eyes, because I'm pretty sure this is not going to go well here. I will try and get a pushback plug-in in the future. Awfully close, but I don't think we ended up hitting the trucks. I'll be darned. Hooray for that then. Okay, ground is set, and we'll call for taxi. We're over at Charlie 44. We'll be expecting one left via Alpha Mike, looking at the facility diagram. San Francisco ground Delta 4448, Terminal 2 with the numbers taxi.
Delta 4448, San Francisco ground, runway 1 left taxi via Alpha Mike.
Alpha Mike to 1 left, Delta 4448.
Delta 4448, and I'm sorry, verify you have the numbers?
Affirmative, Delta 4448.
Roger.
Okay, flaps to takeoff. Okay, Alpha is the inner taxiway. Okay, flaps are set, trim set. And this is Mike right here. Stop just short of the hold line, parking brake back on. And we'll swap over to COM 1, which is already set for tower, just like that. Tower and departure in the standby.
Class 3 to Lima, contact code Calibridge 134.2.
Okay, so we'll be focusing on two things in the here, which is using the autopilot to automate this as much as possible, and also the transition at 250 knots from a speed climb to a vertical speed climb. Look for that as well. I'll try and make sure I get that right. In the past I've stuck with speed mode, and if you try and bang the speed from 250 to 290 knots, it'll actually level off, which is not what ATC is looking for you to do. So we transition out of speed mode to a vertical speed mode and reduce the vertical speed, which will speed the plane up. Alright, we're ready. So we'll do lights, camera, action, get our landing lights on. Strobes on. And everything's set. Here we go. San Francisco Tower, Delta 4448, short of 1 left, ready to go.
Delta 4448, San Francisco Tower, runway 1 left, cleared for takeoff, wind 280 at Niner.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1 left, Delta 4448. I'm going to pop up that window to make it easier to see what's going on. And we do have one problem. My nav source needs to be nav 1. So let's fix that. There we go. So it is tuned to San Francisco, course of 350, which is correct, and there's our DME right there. Alright, off we go. Thrust limiter's kicking in nicely. There's 80. There's rotation. Positive right gear. And we'll do autopilot engage. That'll give us the heading.
Delta 4448, contact departure.
And the speed. Contact departure, Delta 4448. Okay, we'll do heading and engage arm the nav mode. The speed is going to take care of itself. We're good there. And just need to change the frequency to departure. There we go. So it's going to swap from heading mode to nav mode. That's already done. It'll join the 350 radial for us. That should be happening momentarily. Clean up the flaps. NorCal departure Delta 4448 2000, climbing 5000. Anticipate the climb.
4448 NorCal departure, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Flight level 230 Delta 4448. Okay, so we don't want it to level off at 5. I've already moved the screen to the right because I'm going to be dragging this knob big time. Okay, and we're looking for 4 DME. That's good enough for now. I'm going to preset now my heading to 203. And there's 4 DME. Close enough. Engage heading mode. And fine-tune that heading to 203. That didn't go so well. I looked away, and when I hit the heading button or knob, I actually hit the center of it, which set it to current heading, which is not good. Okay, let's get a 203 in there. Alright, flaps are cleaned up. Let's get our speed increased here. Okay, we're done with the San Francisco VOR. We're now going to set the nav source to nav 2, which is point raise, and it's already, we've already had a course of 135 dialed in there. Okay, let's get that altitude set to 230. Increase speed to 250 slowly here. Okay, notice I'm not just jamming the speed up to 250 because it will almost level off to do that. So just slowly bringing the speed up to 250, and once we get to 10,000 we'll transition to vertical speed. Okay, there's a 250 speed climb with a heading of 203. And what we're waiting for is that 135 radial to come in. You can see there is some life from the nav2 CDI right here. Okay, coming up on 10,000 feet. Now let's engage nav mode. A bit nicer, isn't it?
Number 763 Bravo Romeo, Las Vegas departure, radar contact,
10,000 feet,
maintain flight level 190.
Off. And what I want to do, let's have a good look at this.
Delta 44.
Once we're established on the course to port, then we'll call for direct port on the FMS. Or you know what? Let's just see if it actually sequences. Okay, over to Oakland Center, Delta 44, 48, 33.7. Oakland Center, Delta 44, 48, 10.7, climbing flight level 230.
Delta 44, 48, Oakland Center, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Flight level 250, Delta 44, 48.
Pull out of S3, Juliet Lima, contact SoCal approach 135.4.
coming up on port very shortly here. Now we just need to engage the FMS mode. And there it is. That happened a little quicker than I would have liked. I would have liked to have gotten onto FMS mode prior to port, but we did it right over port. And let's do that transition with the speed that I was talking about. So, rather than speed mode, let's now transition to vertical speed mode. It presets the vertical speed to whatever we're doing, which was 2.2, so we don't expect any big change in speed, but now by reducing the vertical speed, if we call for, say, 1200 feet a minute, we're going to have an excess, some excess thrust here, and that's going to translate to higher speed, so that's going to allow our speed to creep up. I'm going to set the speed
Flight 3 Julia Lima, fly heading 090,
back to 290, that's what we want to climb out at. So notice we never stopped our climb.
November 3 Bravo Romeo, heavy contact.
Let's increase
Los
the range
Angeles
on
Center
the
126.35.
display here. That's better, coming up on Woodside now. I'm going to increase our thrust a little bit here. Climb thrust. Okay, back to the PFD here, so it's going to make a right turn at Woodside, I expect. Speed is slowly coming up.
Number 763 Bravo Romeo, Los Angeles Center, climb and maintain flight level 280.
We can bring the vertical speed down even more if we want. Let's do 800 feet a minute. Okay, there's the right turn at Woodside. And here comes 290 on the speed. We'll engage speed mode as soon as it hits the bug. Right there. It's reset it to 288 because that's what we were at. No problem. We'll just dial in 290 now. And that's it. Alright, that was the PORTE5 departure out of San Francisco using raw data to get us to port just in time to swap over to FMS mode for it to fly the rest.